Hey guys, it's Ryan, finding a path to financial freedom for the self-employed. Look, a lot of personal finance experts out there have talked at length about how cognitive biases can hurt your ability to make sound investment decisions. Hell, I've even touched on it a time or two on this channel. But today we're going to look at the equation from the opposite end. We're going to discuss tapping into the natural wiring of the brain to make it easier to make better decisions about how and where to invest your money. In this video, we'll look at 5 distinct strategies, all of which that play to the strengths of a human brain, including fresh start tactics, visualization, automation, account naming strategies, and values framing. But before I go any further, I need you to acknowledge that you understand that nothing in this video should be construed as financial advice, especially considering the fact that I don't give it here or anywhere for that matter. YouTube has made this really easy for you. All it takes is a little tap on the thumbs up icon just below the screen here, and that'll help the algorithm understand that you're going to do your own research before making any investment decisions. Now, with that dirty business out of the way, let's get started. One of the hardest parts of investing is being mentally prepared for it, especially if this is your first rodeo. For a lot of newbies, the process can seem complex, and it certainly can be. There is a lot to know, and there's no straight answers to be found among the finance experati. But that's why in this video, I'm advocating for a little mental pre-work. Just like almost anything you do, a little mental preparedness can go a long way towards achieving long-term outcomes. So why wouldn't we think about applying the same kind of planning to something like our financial future? If you've ever wondered why we set New Year's resolutions, what you're actually asking about is called the fresh start effect. In a recent article from M1 Finance, and this is not sponsored by the way, they cite a professor at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School named Catherine Milkman. Milkman conducted a study that found fresh starts, think New Year's, birthdays, or anniversaries, can actually help people be more effective at setting and achieving goals. These kinds of events cause people to be a little more introspective, evaluating their lives and any prospective change they may want to make. So, fresh starts can make for good nudges to change your habits and make new ones stick. The fresh start effect is why we're more motivated around significant events like the start of the year or our birthdays. And it's not just me saying it. Dr. Dan Pallison, a licensed clinical psychologist and financial advisor who serves as the chief of investor behavior at Keystone Wealth Partners, says, "We put greater significance on these days because it feels like whatever we've done in the past can be wiped away and we get to start over. We no longer define ourselves by our past bad habits, which is why good habits are more likely to stick. That's all well and good, but I've already reneged on my New Year's resolutions this year and my birthday was last month, so what am I supposed to do?" Well, any date that's significant to you for any reason can serve the same purpose. It could be an anniversary, the day your kid took his first step, a holiday, for instance, St. Pat's is just around the corner, or it could be Monday. Any old Monday will do. Just like almost every investor ever, you've probably struggled with funding your long-term retirement accounts over doing something more fun today. This is common, so don't feel bad about it. Our brain is hardwired to make decisions in the moment that move us away from pain and in the direction of pleasure. As a result, we tend to be more inclined to make financial decisions that provide instant gratification or relieve discomfort we're experiencing now, rather than setting cash aside for distant expenses like retirement. An approach for making these decisions easier? Simple: visualization. Creating a mental picture of a desired outcome, something like getting the keys to your first house or walking down the beach at your favorite vacation spot, can help us recognize the value of saving because we can see what our desired end result looks like. To illustrate the power of visualization, Harvard Business Review shared a study where people who saw digitally aged photos of themselves, specifically clear visualizations of themselves in the future, saved more for retirement than those who didn't see such images. In their research, they concluded that many people feel disconnected from the individuals they'll be in the future, and as a result, people discount rewards that would later benefit them. However, even brief exposure to aged images of the self can influence the behavior for the better. The inclusion of as much detail as possible when picturing the future, hence why seeing the aged photos worked so well, will amplify the power of the visualizations you make and their ability to affect your future actions. In an article on the neuroscience of visualization, Dr. Amy Palmer, Associate Professor of Chemistry and Biochemistry at the University of Colorado Boulder, explained why this method works. She says, "The more we engage in visualization, the more likely we are to let opportunities to achieve our goals pass into our conscious perception. So, according to the good Dr. Palmer, the better you can picture yourself as a retired 70-year-old, or in my dream, a retired 55-year-old, the more conscious you will be of spotting books on retirement investing strategies, for example, or finding articles about the perfect city to retire in, or even clicking on one of my videos, liking it to support the YouTube algorithm, and subscribing, for example. Another approach for getting your mind right when it comes to investing comes right down to getting out of your own way and reducing your reliance on willpower to do the right thing. One way to do this is by automating our financial decisions. Not only do most of us know the internal struggle when relying on willpower alone to keep us out of the donuts or to get on the exercise bike each day, God knows I do, but research shows that willpower can be thought of as a limited resource. So while it may be possible to build up your willpower, it's probably best not to put yourself in a position where making positive financial choices depends on you being properly motivated in the random moments when those choices come up. Conversely, whenever possible, aim to put positive financial behaviors on autopilot. That is, take the grind of daily decision-making off your plate and make those choices automatic. We do this all the time. For example, maybe you set your coffee pot to start brewing that sweet, sweet nectar when your alarm goes off in the morning so that you might avoid buying more on the way to work. As it pertains to money-making decisions, you could set up automated transfers from checking to savings or investment accounts, or further, create an automated contribution to your retirement account so that you don't forget to throw another log on the fire. Sure, you need to plan ahead a little, but in full Pokale fashion, once you've done it, just set it and forget it. While we're playing mind games, another way to eliminate the pain of investing each month is to overcome any negative emotions you might have by giving key accounts nicknames. This might sound stupid or very Gen Z of me, but it's backed by research. Psychologists suggest that by naming an account after something you value, it will help increase the motivation to put money in there and actually keep it there. You might call it the Lambo Fund, the Island Excursion Account, the Date with Gal Gadot Super Fund, or Harold. Just Harold. But whatever you call it, the point is that psychologically speaking anyway, knowing that the money has a particular purpose can help keep us from raiding the pot for non-designated reasons. After all, it's harder to justify an unplanned withdrawal from your down payment on my dream home fund than it is to justify sneaking a few extra dollars from savings account ending in 2149er.
Did I catch a niner in there?
The last mindset hack we're going to cover is aligning your financial choices with your moral compass. In this approach, a little self-talk might be the difference between a good choice and a bad one for you. Before pulling the trigger on a financial decision, simply ask yourself, is this something that makes sense to me in terms of what I believe? Then you can make more informed decisions in ways that are true to who you are. An example would be if you really wanted to have a home with a big garage where you could rebuild Ford Mustangs. However, you're having trouble saving for a home with a shop. Just run your money moves through the U filter to reframe non-essential purchases in terms of whether or not they'll help you achieve your grease monkey outcomes. Of course, you should use the same filter to be sure you aren't actually a Cadillac guy, or you could be turning a lot of wrenches for nothing in the long term. Another way of doing this, slightly more akin to our visualization discussion, is that if you're struggling to connect with that potential future version of yourself, try writing a letter. One study found that people who wrote a letter to a version of themselves 20 years in the future were less likely to make a choice that didn't align with their moral compass than those who weren't thinking about their future selves at all. Need proof? Actor Jim Carrey did something just like this early in his career. You see, he wanted to be a rich and famous actor, but in 1985 he was yet to become one. So, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, dated Thanksgiving 1995, and he kept it in his wallet. Shortly before that check came due, the comedic actor was cast in Dumb and Dumber, and before long he was actually able to cash that baby. I like that story because it illustrates many of the points we've covered in this video. From visualization to values framing, this exercise served to give Carrey a daily reminder of his goal, and by keeping that objective top of mind, unconsciously he lived up to meet it. Pretty cool.
Alrighty then.
It's not always easy to make the right financial choices to set yourself up for future success, but it's certainly easier when you take advantage of the things you're inclined to do without even trying. By understanding how we're wired predisposes us to certain behaviors, we can actively put ourselves in situations that are more likely to lead to positive financial outcomes, regardless of our long-term financial plans. Thanks so much for watching. Show that like button you care if you haven't already. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified every time I drop a new show. If you find this content or anything on this channel valuable, share it and spread the good word. Get $10 in free Bitcoin when you buy or sell $100 or more in crypto at Coinbase at the link below, and join me here every Tuesday and Friday for more. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you all next time.